Why are tech layoffs persisting in 2024? In the first 3 months of 2024, over 50,000 tech workers worldwide lost their jobs. Google and Lazada were the two highest profile companies that laid off hundreds across several departments. Is AI to blame? Is automation to blame? Let's have a look. I'm Claudia, this is my colleague Benjamin, and we cover the tech and venture capital scene in Southeast Asia. So will there be more layoffs in 2024? What's your take, Ben?
I think it's likely. A lot of companies now are sort of rationalizing costs coming into 2024 because everyone's looking to go and raise money now after 2 years of having raised money during the boom times of 2020s. So definitely, I think as companies rationalize costs, you're going to see a lot more layoffs happening in 2024.
Yeah, good point. Well, we're going to take a deeper look at the root causes of the recent spree of layoffs in tech industry. All right, so let's have a look at what some of our readers are saying. One of them says it's a snowball effect because when business is good, you need more people. Business is bad, you cut jobs. Another person said that they're an investor and they're happy whenever they see layoffs because it's bringing value.
It's true that as times are bad, one of the first things to sort of cut costs is to cut manpower because that's the biggest sort of expense line on any company. Especially now when market conditions are so bad, you can't really find funding the same sort of pace that you did in early 2020. So I guess it is not too much of a surprise that companies are doing this. What do you think?
No, yeah, I mean, it's definitely true, especially because I still remember in 2021 when we were reporting on the pandemic boom.
Yep.
We wrote stories about how engineers were getting 5-figure salaries just because companies were poaching from each other. Because companies are trying to conserve cash, these are the people who will be the first to go. Although I would have to say that I don't completely agree that cutting jobs equals bringing value, because the real thing is that good decisions bring value. So what do you think, is it very short-sighted for investors to cheer and, you see share prices go up?
Yeah, definitely. I think although costs are cut in the short term, you sort of lose out in the long term when all these people with institutional knowledge leave the company. Even the second comment about investors being happy about cuts, I guess that's a short-term view for a lot of investors because they see, hey, why are your costs so high when the profits could be a lot more, your costs were sort of cut. And I guess some companies have sort of felt pressure then to sort of, hey, no, it's true, I need to appease my investors in the public market.
Yeah, it's true. And I think one thing that we must also be aware of is that in the tech industry, this really is a cycle, right? The boom and the bust. And the Shopback CEO, Henry, he also mentioned quite clearly in his letter to employees when he announced the layoffs, right? They made a lot of decisions during the boom. They basically had a lot of business ventures and they ended up hiring a lot of people. But now times are bad and they have to conserve cash, so they're making difficult decisions.
Yeah, another comment says, people work in tech to create more tech, they replace the people who work in tech. This is tech.
This is tech.
This is tech.
It's true. It's true. But that's the thing about people and the purpose of technology, right? We're always finding ways to do things better, try to do as little evil as possible. But the whole point is, how serious is the threat right now of AI to jobs? I would say we really are in the early stages. You do see that companies have that hunger to use automation simply because it's easier cost-wise, and also you don't have to deal with the human part of it. Machines don't get sick, for example, right? Duolingo, they cut 10% of the contractor workforce because they wanted to do more automation. It's a real thing, it's affecting real people. But yeah, we still are in the very early stages because I think people don't really understand AI as well yet. It's not very advanced.
I agree with you, because a lot of times AI is sort of just replacing the very low value jobs, it's very tedious, a lot of grunt work there. I think software engineers speak to say, hey, it's improved their productivity so much because you don't have to code the basic sort of functions that they usually have to do.
On the contrary, you also see AI being this huge driver of job creation. Even as Google was laying off so many people across the globe, they were also hiring for jobs in like large language models and also software engineers, because basically companies are predicting this very seismic paradigm shift that AI is going to be the backbone of technology and how people work and live in the future. So it's something that we're just going to have to live with. Okay, let's talk a bit about e-commerce, because a lot of the layoffs are coming from there. So one person said that she would never accept any position in the industry. No stable job, no peace of mind, no.
To be fair, I think they've been quite a stable employer for a long time. And it's only recently they started layoffs, right? So I guess it's hard to sort of paint this on a broad brush. But also, Lazada's layoffs are quite extensive, quite across the board. Even top management wasn't spared. So it is, I guess, fair to think that, hey, this is not a safe job if even the leaders aren't spared from this.
In the tech industry also, there's this concept of talent recycling. Even on my end, I do know people who have had long careers in e-commerce companies. They spend 5-10 years at Alibaba or at Lazada. They gain what they wanted to, and then they move on and they use those skills elsewhere. There is always value when people look for jobs in the tech industry.
I think it's also good to sort of understand the background of e-commerce right now. There's a lot of heavy competition between new entrant TikTok shop, quite aggressively going to the region. You can sort of see that in the balance sheets of the listed companies. They are also tussling for slice in Asia as well. I think Goto had to eventually sell most of their stake in Tokopedia to TikTok in order to survive. It would have been better to sort of give it up to a rival who's actually gaining a lot of market share in Asia and let them run it.
And if you think about it, what's the impact on the job market? I think workers just have to be very, very aware that because you're in this sector, there are so many deals and there are so many unexpected things happening, you just might be blindsided. There are also business units that might disappear overnight, entire teams. It is a very volatile industry, and it's going to be this way for a while.
Yeah. Moving on, I guess, will Singapore sort of remain attractive for tech companies? Because I mean, a commentator said, more layoffs because the country is so expensive. That's why all this is happening. Do you agree with that, or do you think that Singapore is still relatively cheap to operate in?
Well, I mean, obviously you can't dispute that Singapore is expensive. Everything it is expensive. But there is a very strategic reason why companies keep coming to Singapore. The new thing that's happening and that we're seeing more of is Singapore being this sort of safe haven, this neutral ground, especially as US-China tensions intensify. And you see companies like ByteDance, Shein coming in, taking on a Singaporean identity. There's a reason for all of that.
Actually, I would disagree with him that Singapore is not expensive. You might think that, currency-wise, currency is much stronger than everyone else, and the costs appear to be so much more. But intangibly, a lot of costs that go into operating in countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines are not captured completely, especially in the balance sheet, because I think a lot of regulatory costs, dealing with currency controls, foreign ownership issues. These are all costs that add up.
Exactly,
yeah.
and that's also a cost, right? When political winds can shift the fate of your business very quickly. Sometimes it's just easier to just set up in Singapore.
So I think it's important to note, layoffs are happening outside of tech as well. With traditional companies like Unilever recently cutting 7,500 jobs, and the same day seeing their share price jump by 5.4%. Do you think that's a trend that's going to continue into this year?
Well, yeah, I must admit that it's not going to be over soon. It will continue, and we're also going to see this sort of reaction, right? The market will react this way. But I will reiterate what I said earlier, which is that just because jobs are being cut doesn't mean that these are good business decisions. Because fundamentally, you need to see why they are being cut and what they're going to do with the company afterwards, especially noting that morale is always very hard hit when people go, right? So how will they continue? How are you going to motivate these people to continue working and striving for a goal, right? So yeah, this trend will continue, which is why we'll keep watching the space. If you have any comments, leave them down below and we will get back to you.